Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whenever you are. Welcome to a new DC live stream. I'm your host, Matt Battieri, here with you today for another Bitcoin technical analysis video. Hope you're having an amazing Monday. Hopefully the week gets better, and hopefully, most importantly, hopefully Bitcoin decides to find a bottom this week. And I think one more breakdown is on the card. So if we're looking at the weekly, you can see that we've broken out of this trend line. This trend line is drawn on the auto scale, not the log scale. If it's on the log scale, it looks a little bit different. But when you're drawing these trend lines, the auto scale is definitely where you want to be. So if we are to have another breakdown, we can see that we could possibly get some support around 11,500. My overall target is still $13,000 to $14,000. I'm hearing a lot of people saying $9,000 to $10,000, and that is totally acceptable as well. I personally do think that five-figure Bitcoin would create more fear and uncertainty, and therefore the sell-off is going to be a whole lot larger. So therefore, yeah, I do think that a $9,000 Bitcoin, for example, would be great. I'd like to scoop some up at that price, and I think a drop from here to there would cause that same panic that I felt back in 2018. And I'm going to show you real quick where I felt a little bit of panic being an investor, because it was my first bear market, was right here. So once we had this drop here in 2018 and Bitcoin went to about $3,000, I thought my investment that I'd made back here in 2017 was gone. I was prepared to have diamond hands and let it ride, because it was the first time I got into stocks or anything, even though it was just cryptocurrency. And I think that we haven't yet seen the last of it, just because I just feel like $16,000 isn't enough here. It just seems still too valuable for Bitcoin. So I'm looking at still $13,000 to $14,000, but hey, $9,000 would be great. I've already started to place some buy orders between $9,000 and $15,000 dollar cost averaging, because I don't know where the bottom is going to come in, but I do have, like I said, I have some thoughts of where it could possibly go. One thing that I've noticed in all previous bull runs is that Bitcoin tends to come back to the 0.85 or 85% retracement from bear market bottom, which was here, from the all-time high. And we can see that the 85% is around 13,000, which lines up with the wicks that we got in the mid-bear run bull rally in 2019. So I think this is a perfect spot to get support, and also just, it will tie into everything else that's happened previously in the previous bear markets, where we hit 85% and then we start grinding up slowly to the next bull market. So with that being said, I want to show you guys a couple of things. I've said before in a older live stream that I think that the exponential bull run will commence on the 1st of April 2023. Now, the reason I say that is because all these vertical lines that I have mapped out is April 1st of each of the previous 12 years that Bitcoin has been alive. And if we quickly just have a look at April 1st, during the bear markets, these were either the tops or the bottoms of the cycle. So we have basically a bottom here, a bottom here. This was a top. This was a low point. You could say that this was a bottom as well before the exponential rise. This was obviously the start of the exponential, the more exponential rise of Bitcoin. You can see we popped off again here. This one doesn't really matter because this was mid bear market. This is the one that I remember because this is when I was in crypto, and this is where I was like, oh, geez, what's going on here? Because Bitcoin basically in the space of a week, jumped up. Let's have a look. Oh no, it's more than that. Let me just zoom in. So my calculator. So 31% in a week. So that was April 1st. April 1st in 2020, this is where we hit we were close to the bottom of the bear market, the secondary drop. This was the COVID dump. April 1st, we had the top. April 1st, we had another major point. So you could see that April 1st has a connotation with Bitcoin that is very positive, or it signals the top of the market. So I do have in my mind that April 1st is once again next year going to be very bullish. I've also found that time through doing a fib time extension. I'm not going to do one now because I forget what points they were for it to line up. But I can tell you that with some previous stuff, if I even just bring on my predictions, which I have kept from previous live streams, so we can circle back to that in the future. Let me just go reset price scale. We can see here that I've marked out the 29th of May, which is the day before April. That is where the exponential bull run commences, and the bear market bottom. I don't think the bear market bottom is going to be on. Oh no, it actually could be. So we'll have an exponential rise from here, boom, and then I assume we're going to sort of hit the top of the bull market in sort of this zone, and then we're going to have the bear market bottom around August 2024. So going to be really interesting to see how things go, and hopefully these predictions do come right. We've got a couple of comments. Let's have a quick look. I heard it will fall between 10 to 4K, but hey, who knows really? I also heard in the coming years it will reach 200K. Yeah, of course, Bitcoin's going to hit $1 million in 10 to 15 years, but we just have to be patient. We know if we just if you zoom out, Bitcoin. I've got to change and stop using the drawing. Bitcoin goes up and to the right. You just have to have patience during these bear markets. This isn't even the worst bear market we've ever had. You can see that this bear market from basically where we hit the all-time high till we rebroke that same all-time high was close to 2 years. It was close to 3 years, 1,186 days. So it was actually more. Yeah. Let's divide 1186 divided by 365, 3.25 years. So it took Bitcoin 3.25 years to break its previous all-time high. So look, I'm not saying that that's going to happen. I don't think so. I think there's too much trust in Bitcoin these days. Maybe not exchanges, but definitely in Bitcoin. So I think once it gets to a clear level, there's going to be people rushing back in. So guys, if you're watching this, don't worry about the current market. We will recover. All right, let's zoom into what's been going on in Bitcoin this last little bit. So we can see we're in this kind of like descending wedge, which is usually a bullish sign, a bullish pattern. We also have like a large wedge like so that we can also draw, that a few people have done. So those are a few things that I'm looking at, but as I said, my main target is down there. All right, if we zoom in on the Bitcoin price, what's been happening this last week, let me just go to the hourly maybe, and then zoom in. So this past week, Bitcoin's sort of been it formed this sort of symmetrical triangle. We broke down, we've hit this trend line that we've had all along through this sideways action. And right now, where I'm sort of looking for Bitcoin to bounce from is the 618 fib retracement and the value area low of this entire sideways range. So this value area, you can either draw from where we started having all this sideways action, which is around about here, 18,000, or most people to get it from the low wick formed. You can see that because of the low wick form, we did hit sort of the value area low, and we are getting a bit of a bounce. However, if we draw a fib line from here to here, we can see that we still have the 618 below the value area. If you do bring this fib from this point here where we had the rise, you can see that we already hit the 618 fib retracement. So this is just, I believe, a temporary stop. I think we're going to continue to the downside. And the reason being is if I bring on a hash ribbons indicator, which is the miner's profitability of mining Bitcoin. If we go to the daily scale, we can see that the moving averages, which basically means a lot of miners, when miners turn off their machines because they're not becoming profitable because the cost of electricity outweighs the returns that they're getting by producing Bitcoin, these moving averages tend to cross over, and then we have this capitulation event. You can see it says capitulation here. Let me look at the last one. We had another capitulation here, capitulation, et cetera, et cetera. So when these moving averages cross over, we tend to have capitulation. So let's mark these out real quick with a vertical line where we had capitulation. And let's see what we can find that, let's see if we can find something in the price action that shows us what actually occurs. So you can see when we had capitulation here, we break down. When we had capitulation here, we break down. When we had capitulation here, yes, we did rise up, but we ended up sort of breaking further. This capitulation didn't really do much because this was where we were breaking out from about $13,000. This one as well, we had a bit of a breakdown. This one was, it capitulated, but this was because it was a black swan event. It's a bit hard to, factor that one in. This capitulation right here was during the Pulse X Ponzi scheme that was based in Asia. And then we can see that we had a capitulation around about here because this is the Bybit trading chart. So the so the history is not shown, but yeah, it was around about $6,000 where we had the crossover. So I think tomorrow or the day after or sometime this week, these two moving averages will cross over, create a capitulation event, which will hopefully be our last leg down. So right now, that's all I'm looking for. I'm just shorting the market because we still have not created or shown a sign of strength. We would require us to create a higher high. So right now, we would need a break above 18,100 to create a higher high. But really, the first number that I'm really looking at is the value area low of this first sideways range. So if we draw the fixed range profile from here to there, we'll see that we have a value area low at about 18,800. So look for that as resistance if we do come up to 18,800. But now, instead of needing 25,000, which was my original get bullish target, we would need to break above this high, which is about 21,500. So we need to break down, come back above here, form a higher low, and then we could, become bulls and re-enter the market at, 100%. But right now, because the trend is still to the downside, there is no point longing. There is no point sort of buying right now because I do feel that low prices are still inevitable. We can see by just the shape as well of the Bitcoin price, we're creating an M, which is the opposite of a double bottom. It's a very bearish structure. Normally what you do in order to see where this breakdown is going to be, basically take the apex of the M pattern like so. I bring it down to the breakdown. So let's just say the breakdown is from this neckline, about 15,500. We can see that the target is, look at that, exactly $14,000. So it's funny how things line up. This is just technical analysis. Sometimes things just tend to line up. So we've got the 0.85 Fibonacci retracement. We've got the hash ribbons indicator crossing over. We broke down from this bear pennant. We are now approaching the 618 from this low to the high. So that we'll maybe get another little bounce here, of course. We're just bouncing up. But I do think that we are poised for low prices because, yeah, we just don't have enough fear in the market. $16,000 is not scary for some people. It's not making them think of their Bitcoin. If you've been watching other YouTubers, you've probably heard that number of addresses is increased, number of people holding one Bitcoin is increased. So yeah, things are still remaining very bullish technically. And the big whales, those tracking the whale accounts that you can get that data on Glassnode, for example, have not yet shown that, they are buying. They did have a bit of a buy the other day around about here, but so did we. We bought, a little bit. We got a bit of exposure around 15,500 just in case it was the bottom. But by the look of the price action, doesn't look like things are, going to recover. So let me just chuck on a couple of my other favorite indicators, stochastic, and go MACD. All right. So on the 4-hour market cipher, we can see that the red money flow has taken a steep dive down. The stochastic RSI is pointing down, but it looks like it's going to have a bit of a bounce in a little bit because once we hit the bottom, we're in oversold and we need to go back up. So probably end up coming down to the 618 fib retracement, have a bit of a bounce, maybe come back up. Let's do a fib retracement. So we go from the high to, let's just say we go to the 681 fib retracement. We could see Bitcoin come back up to about 16,400, but still remain bearish. Something like this, where we come down, hit the 618, come back up to this 618, and then go further down. So it's still early in the week. New York Stock Exchange doesn't open till later this evening. So I'm sure we're going to get some action this week. On the shorter scale, nothing is really, nothing is bullish. It just looks like a complete breakdown, and everything else, all my indicators are supporting it. The only way we could get any sort of move to the upside is if we get a fat finger market buy order from some large whale. But this is not looking very bullish. This is looking quite bearish, and, lower prices seem inevitable right now. The DXY looks like it wants to have a bit of a bounce, so that's going to work against Bitcoin's favor. I was going to say flavor. So we can see here on the weekly, we're still in the green money flow. Yes, the money flow has come down, which probably signals that this was a top for the DXY. But if we do clip off a nice little trigger wave here, we'll probably end up having a bit of a bounce and then come back down. And this bounce here is where Bitcoin will capitulate, which is sometime this week. And then as this collapses down, hopefully Bitcoin can start making its recovery. Alrighty, that is basically it for Bitcoin's technical analysis. I feel like I covered a fair few things. I spoke to you about lower price action. I spoke to you about what dates I'm looking for a reversal in the exponential price action to occur, April 1st next year. But yeah, like I said, I think things are still looking quite bearish on all time frames. I can go to all time frames and nothing's looking good. See, we just kind of got a bit of a bounce from the trend line, but it looks like we're poised for further downward action. All right, guys, that is it from me. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below the video so I can get back to you. Also, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications for this channel. We go live every single day, Monday to Friday, and 2 educational videos on Saturday and Sunday. Once again, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.